Hello, everyone. I'm Camila from the VanHack Success Team, and I'm here today to share another inspiring story with you. So please welcome Nam. He's a front-end engineer from Vietnam and relocated to Halifax, Canada. And I'm glad to be talking with you today, Nam. Thank you so much for taking that time. Would you mind starting by introducing yourself? Tell us a bit about your story and where join us today from.
Yeah, sure. Thanks for having me, Camila. My name is Nan, and I'm from Vietnam. And back, I started looking for an opportunity to migrate to Canada like a long time ago, maybe 6 years ago. I was a exchange student. I studied in Finland. I got into exchange program from Finland to Saskatchewan, Canada, 2016 Christmas. And I at first I didn't know Canada. I only heard that okay, it's a wonderful country, friendly people, and warm and kind and marvelous. The prime minister. I heard all that. I wanted to explore, and I was young. And I was a student, but it turned out to be very true. The people I I landed in Vancouver at my first transit, and people were so nice. People keep saying all the positive words like awesome, marvelous, thank you a lot. I was like, how can people be that kind? And and then I landed in Saskatchewan. People were even more relaxing and more welcoming, and I really liked it back then. But the problem is I hold a student visa, so I had to return back to my country. I really wanted to extend my visa and working there. So I came back to my home country and I started working as software engineer. I did my intern and later on I built up my expertise and I became an expert in my field and I got married last year too. So I decided to ask my wife. Thanks so much. And I decided to ask my wife, hey, Canada is so great. I do want to move there. And she said, okay, wherever you are, I'm happy with you. And okay, I started looking online and first time I heard about VanHack is quite funny. Because I don't know, but I think Google heard me when we're talking about Canada. So I came home on that night and I opened YouTube and they showed me a advertised video of one Vietnamese girl who worked for VanHack too, and she relocated from Vietnam to Vancouver and. I saw that hey, it matches what I wanted to do right now, and I started looking online, and I read about VanHack, and this was all the successful story you done on YouTube, and plus LinkedIn, you guys so active, and the community. I started joining Slack channel, and I read everything I could, and okay, I decided to give it a try and I recorded my video. So you guys tested my English and I passed and I got evaluated as advanced user. And then I prepared my survey and I participated in all the courses in VanHack Academy. I joined VanHack Academy premium package and it's really helpful. I learned a lot from there, how to prepare my resume because people no matter how good I am, I really need to let people know. Otherwise, nobody interested in my skill and yeah, I learned a lot. And finally, I got matched up with a couple of companies. The first one in Toronto, the Canvas AI, they're really nice. Unfortunately, due to some business situation, they couldn't accept me, even though we got to the final round. I don't remember the exact reason, but they sorry to me and but it's a good start. I know it's possible. I felt down a little bit back then, but I know at least I'm qualified for a job in Canada. So I keep looking and finally 2 months later, a company named Redspace in Halifax, they matched up with me in VanHack platform and we did an interview. We got to know each other and we share our expectation. It's a match, and yeah, and finally here I am, and that wouldn't be possible without VanHack. And VanHack team did more than years ago publishing course online, right? We have I think every single personnel in touch with at VanHack. They are super helpful. I
Oh,
remember
good.
couple of personnel only, but Miguel and Tatiana and all of those, I couldn't complain anything about them. They are more than awesome. And thank
Yeah,
you.
absolutely. Yeah, that's amazing story. Thank you so much. You touched on a variety of topics that are so important. So I was curious because you said it, you knew VanHack for a long time, but how long did it take when you really decided to apply and you committed yourself to job applications and until you got, I mean, these first interviews and so on? And got this job. So just I was curious because you also said that the academy profile review also helped you with the profile preparation. So I think that is a journey that perhaps we can explore a bit if you can share.
Yeah, it's quite a journey, and I still remember the day because it's Black Friday. In 2021, I
Yeah.
decided to invest in VanHack Premium Academy package. I bought a package. You guys had a promotion back then. I remember that day because it's Black Friday.
Yeah.
And that's the moment I decided to go all in with my heart and with everything I got, and I got to learn about VanHack, about Canada, about relocation guide, about pretty much everything you have in there. But I believe everything still possible even if you don't go for premium package. Everything else is still absolutely possible, but I think it's a bit more helpful because you got to interact with the actual person in VanHack Academy. You can ask questions, and other people might have a similar question to like you already answer, and you can learn from the past too. So, and it took quite a bit of time, but I think it's totally worth it because Canada set a very high standard for someone to be qualified, to arrive at Canada. So it's totally worth your time, and eventually we will get there. But it definitely takes time. In my case, it took me like 4 and 5 months before I got my first interview with the VanHack clients, and yeah.
Perfect. Yeah, I mean, this kind of expertise from instructors and reviewers, they help you understand these nuances that we have in an international hiring process, right? And then put you in the right path to get there. But still, it's a journey, as I said. So yeah, I'm glad you made it. And so yeah, would you mind sharing a bit how was the relocation process for you since you got hired? So I know that you got hired like last year already, but then you took some time for you to relocate to Halifax. So would you mind sharing a bit how was this process for you?
Yeah, sure. I signed my contract with Halifax company back in July 2022, but I have to wait until March 2023 when the relocation finalized and I started working here in Halifax. They didn't have an option for me to work remotely because it's a agency type company. It's up to the client whether they wanted to work with remote engineer back in Vietnam because of time zone difference. Because it's 12 hour times. I think it's 10 plus hour time zone difference, and the client typically wants someone who have at least 4 hour overlap with them, so they can work more uh, easily and frequently. And I couldn't afford that, but that's okay because I know I'm gonna be in Canada already, and I think it's an opportunity for me to catch up with my loved ones. I didn't have much time with my parents last year, in previous year, and travel with my wife, and it's a great journey. We did a lot of traveling, and there's nothing to regret at all. And I honestly would take that opportunity of not having work and detach myself from the hectic world. And we love that. Yeah, even if I had to live that moment again and again, I still chose that path. And the relocation took a bit of time because of regulation in my home country. I think we were lucky because if we went to Canada.ca website, the average time for visa processing in my country is like several months, and it took me only 10 weeks. It's really fast for me. I have no idea why we were lucky. I could only guess because in the past I have been to Europe and I have been to Canada even, and I got my background check clean, and the process went fast for me compared to other who never been to Canada or other country before. And I prepared everything I needed for the border control. I got my police certificate ready. And I got all the document VanHack Tatiana asked me to prepare, and finally we landed here.
All right. Yeah, definitely. I'm glad you had this time as well with family and all. I think it's also important since you are also relocating, right? So you had some quality time with family before that. So you and your wife, glad to hear that. And apart from the relocation, how do you think that this new opportunity contributed to your personal and professional growth so far?
Yeah, let's start with a personal standpoint. Honestly, Canada and Vietnam are so different, Asian and North America. But I think because Canada is so diverse, a lot of people immigrate from here like 100 years ago, and I have been to Europe countries before, and I still feel like foreigner, even though I lived there for 5 years because I couldn't speak the language. And even though if I spoke a bit of language of themselves, I still feel I'm a foreigner. And I don't know, it's just a feeling. Because we can't express. It's just how you feel when you're in a country. But in Canada, even in the first step of mine in Vancouver, I didn't feel that at all. Everybody doesn't care who you are or where you're from, as long as you can speak the language, they treat you the same, and that's the best thing about Canada for me. And yeah, we don't feel like foreigner at all. Everywhere we go, everywhere we do, everything we eat, we got treated the same, and that's something I love about Canada. And that personal point of view. From professional point of view, of course, Canada and Vietnam is a lot different, but personally I like to work here in Canada more because in Vietnam is a bit different because the way we run business is we have a bit of hierarchy in workplace, and in Canada everybody is so equal. Everybody is given the chance to speak up in the meeting and have a equal voice and equal contribution path to the products. In Vietnam, it's not the case. Normally, there is a group of decision maker in the company, and the rest just follow that direction. But in Canada, I feel like everyone here is trusting each other and value each other input. And I have always been a fan of equality in my whole life, even though I grew up in Vietnam. So I really love it in Canada, where people treat each other equally and respect each other. I like that a lot.
So important topics. I mean, these cultural differences you mentioned first, and having these diverse environments where we are all at the same, right? And we feel welcome. This is so important in a work environment, and of course in a day to day as well when you go to different places. I'm glad you're having this experience. And so talking about your working experience, do you have something exciting that you have done so far that perhaps you can share with us since you started working for this company, like something that you think was really new to you or a new project or skill or something else that you learned so far?
Yeah, actually, because I got hired and started working in March, and so far I have joined a project. It's an internal project. It's mostly research and development, and everything is still in researching phase. And that's something I really like about Rest Space too. The company I'm working for in Halifax is called Rest Space, and meanwhile, they don't have a project for people like us right now, so they will ask us to do certain research and development, and I think it's really rare to see. And I heard people working for big company like Google, they do have that kind of thing where they let employee to do research and development. But normally in product company, they never run out of work. They always have work for you, no matter where you are in your life. But in Rest Day is a bit different because they needed to hire a project for you, and when they don't have it, they will let you do research and development, and that's something I really like.
Yeah, so exciting. Still, you are still contributing at some place in the company, and research and development is also such a big deal, right? And also important for your own development as well. I'm glad to hear that you have this opportunity. So yeah, before we wrap up, a lot of great stuff so far. So do you have any tips that you wish to share with our VanHackers around the job search journey? So any tips that you think might be helpful for those out there looking for this new opportunity?
Yeah, honestly, I know I'm consider myself extremely lucky because right now, if we go to VanHack Slack channel, 90,000 plus people inside that your next job channel. A lot of job posted daily, but a lot of people really looking for job too. Is the competition is so high, and like you mentioned in the email you invited me, the challenging work market right now. We the because of the war in Ukraine, the whole world is business is not doing so well right now. The competition even higher because we have less work and more people. And honestly, I would say keep working on your dream because that's the only thing matter. Even in my case, I was I was there back then, and it's still a war, and not so many jobs, especially front end. As in my case, most people looking for full stack engineer, but because I'm a specialist, I'm not a generalist. For my entire career, I have working for exactly front end, and that's my where my expertise land from. And that means I have less work opportunity in VanHack channel because most of them are just full stack, full stack, full stack. But I was considering should I switch my career to go to Canada
to match those positions.
Yeah, I was considering that for weeks, and but at the end of the day, I said no. I told myself no because if I chose to become someone else, I'm not. I already failed myself already because front end is my expertise and I love doing it. And if I chose to do something I don't like, is it bad for company who hire me because that's a disaster to hire someone and ask them to do what they don't like. So I decided to stick to front end and hope for the best and turn out to be true. Even though the amount of company hire front end not a lot, only few, but and this means is because full stack engineer can still apply for front end engineer position. This means I have more competition going on with me, but it doesn't matter because
you would be working with something you were not actually in love with, right? So I mean, I totally agree with your decision of keeping your path on what you really like doing. So I think it was a wise decision. Yeah.
Yeah, and I really hope if someone had that talk like me, whether they want to change their career path just to move to Canada, let's not do that because Canada want qualified and specialists. They don't want someone trying so hard to get into the country, and it's not sustainable in the long run.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
and
And this relocation, I mean, this must be something that is feasible, not only because of the relocation side, but also, of course, your professional growth and your interests, right, for the future. So I think it might be a match, and yeah, great decision. All right, so thank you so much for sharing them. And before we wrap up, if you would describe your job search in one word, what would it be? What do you think?
in one word, definitely patient. Yeah, I would say there's, and I think it's not only job search. It's just for everything going on in my journey. Because I'm a Vietnamese. I don't hold a very strong passport, so in order to obtain Canadian visa, it took a lot of time for Vietnamese people. Many people waited for a year. I'm lucky. I got only 3 months. I have Canadian visa already. But patient matter because you don't see a progress saying 1%, 20% until 100%. No, it's not visible. You just have to be patient most of the time. And every day you check your email.
Yeah, and unfortunately, you receive that emails like you got rejected for positions you apply, and then you try again, and you gotta be patient and patient.
Yeah, that's true because I have received rejected email a lot, but you only need to get it once, and that's all you need. You might get, because I heard a story from other VanHacker. She got rejected like 500 times, but she still nailed it. She only needed to score once, and that's her dream. So patience is everything, I would say.
Yeah, perfect. I really enjoyed that. So yeah, thank you again so much, Nam. Nice chat and perfect tips for our VanHackers out there. Hopefully it will inspire others like you got inspired watching our success cases before getting started, right? So thank you again for joining us today and sharing. I hope to see you around and hope you really enjoy this new life in Halifax and with this new opportunity.
Yeah, thank you so much. I cannot recommend VanHack enough to whoever ever wanted to go to Canada by global talent stream. And I really wish everybody achieve their dream one day or another, because Canada really needs people in the next decade, because Canadian population is aging. We need professional to cover that, and the door is open for whoever trying. And lady luck is always smart to those who try. So
yeah, that's true. That's true. Wow, fantastic.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Bye bye. See you
Bye bye.
around.
See you
Thank you,
around.
everyone.